Title: I-56F don't understand why my children are so cold to me after everything I've done for them. Hi, Reddit. I honestly don't know where else to turn. My husband passed away 4 years ago, and since then I've done nothing but try to keep this family together. But lately, it feels like everything I say or do gets twisted, and now my children barely speak to me. I'm tired, I'm hurt, and I just need to know, am I the bad guy here? I have 3 children: James, 32M, Elise, 29F, and Tyler, 24M. James is my oldest, and if I'm being honest, my easiest child. He's always been responsible, polite, and successful. We've always had a strong bond. I don't deny that. But that doesn't mean I love the other two any less. Elise and I have always had a more complicated relationship. She was difficult as a teen, moody, dramatic, and honestly kind of rebellious. I know she feels I favored James, but I just didn't have to fight with James every day the way I did with her. And she always says things like, "You never believed in me," or "You always supported James's dreams but mocked mine," which is just not true. I told her being a writer wasn't practical because I wanted her to have a real career with stability. How is that not supportive? Tyler, my youngest, has completely changed. He used to be my sweet baby. We'd go to the movies, cook together. He used to call me every Sunday. But ever since Elise moved in with him last year, he barely speaks to me. I text, he gives one-word replies. I ask to visit, he's always busy. I know Elise is turning me against me. She's always been jealous of the relationship I have with James. I tried to organize a family dinner last month, made all of James's favorite dishes because he's vegetarian now and I didn't want him to feel left out, and neither Elise nor Tyler showed up. No explanation, they just didn't come. When I asked, Elise said, "I'm tired of being an afterthought." How was she an afterthought when I invited her and made food? I just don't understand what more I could have done. I paid for college, well, most of it, for James entirely, but the other two had scholarships. I went to their events, maybe not every single one, but most. And I never once turned them away. So why am I being treated like the villain? Am I really that horrible of a mother? Comment 1. You say you never turned them away, but it sounds like you never truly welcomed them either. You openly admit to favoring James because he was easier, but don't see how that shaped how Elise and Tyler feel. You're not asking why your kids are upset. You're asking why you're being punished for not seeing them as equal. Comment 2. Let me get this straight. You funded James' college fully, but not the others. You encouraged James' dreams, but told Elise hers were unrealistic. You hosted a dinner for all your kids, but made only James's favorite food. But somehow Elise is the one being dramatic? Comment 3. Tyler probably didn't change. He likely just woke up. Moving in with Elise may have opened his eyes to a lot of things. Your favoritism was never subtle, and now it's coming back to bite you. Update. I wasn't going to post again, but after reading the thousands of comments on my last post, and yes, I read many of them, even if I didn't respond, I honestly don't know what's worse. How cold my children have become, or how gleefully Reddit seems to be tearing apart a grieving mother who's only ever done her best. I'm not sure what kind of fantasy world some of you are living in, but clearly a lot of you have no idea what it's like to actually raise children. Real children with different personalities, temperaments, and needs. It's easy to sit behind a screen and judge when you've never had to juggle 3 different kids, a job, a marriage, financial stress, and now widowhood. I'm not perfect, but I'm human. I sacrificed everything for my family, and now I'm being labeled a narcissist, a manipulator? It's disgusting. Let's go ahead and break some things down, since apparently context was missing for some of you. On James being my favorite. I never said James was my favorite. I said he was easier. There's a difference. He never talked back, he got good grades, he respected me, and didn't slam doors in my face. If any of my kids earned more attention or privileges, it was James, because he didn't make my life a constant battle. That's not favoritism, that's natural human response. You reward good behavior. Isn't that what parenting is? 2. Elise, the misunderstood victim. You all act like Elise is some wounded angel I threw into the cold. The reality is she's always had a flair for drama and exaggeration. Yes, I told her that pursuing writing full-time was risky because it is, especially when she had mounting student loans and no savings. Forgive me for not wanting my daughter to end up broke and depressed in someone's basement. That's not crushing dreams, it's being realistic. And James wanted to be an accountant. He had a plan. Elise had poetry. And let's not forget that Elise would weaponize emotions constantly. Cry when grounded, screamed when corrected, and now she's weaponizing Tyler's affection. It's like she can't stand anyone having a closer relationship than she does. And Tyler woke up. Tyler has changed, I'm sorry, but he has. He used to be warm, affectionate, my little shadow. Now it's cold texts, ignored calls, missed holidays. He won't even send pictures of the dog I bought him in college. And people in the comments acting like I caused this? Like Elise didn't poison the well? Please, you're all seeing what she wants you to see. Tyler stopped calling me after one argument. I asked him if he could help me financially with a medical bill, not a large one, and he snapped. Told me to ask James since I've always asked him for less. First off, untrue. Secondly, how is it unreasonable to ask your adult child for help when you're struggling? I didn't demand it, I asked. That's what family does. The dinner. I'm so tired of hearing about the dinner. Yes, I made James's favorite dishes. He was visiting from out of town for one day. Elise and Tyler live 10 minutes away. And before you all jump on me again, there were vegetarian options for everyone. Elise just likes to spin everything like she's Cinderella scrubbing the floors. And Tyler never even RSVP'd. But what really gutted me was when I called to follow up. And Elise said, "It's clear who you made that dinner for," and hung up. No discussion, no explanation, just that smug, bitter tone she always uses when she doesn't get to play the victim. 5. James's role. Now I'm seeing some comments trying to drag James into this, saying he was complicit or enabled me. That's insane. James has always been respectful to me. He's the only one who remembers my birthday every year without a reminder. He texts me Happy Mother's Day first thing in the morning. And yes, I did pay more of his tuition, but only because Elise had scholarships. And Tyler dropped out a second year. I'm not going to throw money down the drain just to appear fair. I'm not some monster. I didn't beat my kids. I didn't abandon them. I made sacrifices. My career, my body, my time, for them. I clipped coupons, skipped vacations, and dealt with a chronically depressed husband to make sure they had a stable home. And now they've decided I'm not emotionally validating enough. I didn't realize being a mother meant I had to be a therapist too. What Reddit fails to grasp is that parenthood is not some Instagrammable fairy tale. It's messy, hard, and sometimes unfair. You love your kids differently because they are different. That's not favoritism, that's reality. But maybe Reddit is right. Maybe I should just stop trying. Maybe I should just let them sit in their resentment while I live the rest of my life in peace. Let them stew in their self-righteousness. I'll be over here, finally putting myself first for once. Yes, this is a throwaway. No, I don't care what new judgment you all hurl at me. I already lost my family. What else can you take?
Title: I'm the Elise from that mom's post. Since she's using Reddit to rewrite history, here's the actual story. Hi. I never thought I'd have to air out my family's dysfunction on Reddit, But after my mother's post blew up, and then her second post basically painted me as some manipulative, jealous drama queen, I feel like I have no choice. I don't want internet pity, and I'm not trying to cancel my mom. I just want to correct the record. Because if you only read her version, you'd think she was a saint, being iced out by her ungrateful kids. I'm Elise, 29, female, the rebellious daughter who weaponized emotions and poisoned my little brother against our mom. Buckle up, because this is going to be long and uncomfortable and very real. Let's start with the James was just easier claim. She loves to say this. She needs to say this because admitting she favored him would mean admitting she hurt the rest of us. But let's be honest. James didn't get yelled at for things I got screamed at for. James didn't get called too sensitive for crying. James didn't get told, "Why can't you be more like your brother?" every time he failed at something. James got a car for graduation, full tuition paid, his own room for 3 years while I shared with Tyler, our mom's attention, affection, and validation. The benefit of the doubt. I got called dramatic for needing therapy after Dad died. Laughed at when I got into a writing program. So, you're going to be poor forever? Guilt-tripped when I accepted a scholarship out of state. So, you're abandoning the family? Labeled rebellious for having normal teenage emotions. James was easier because he never challenged her. The rest of us paid for having boundaries. My career and poetry. This part hit me hard. I have a journalism degree. I've written for national outlets. I've had my work cited, picked up, and shared in educational settings. I've spoken on panels. But none of that mattered to her because it wasn't secure or impressive in the way she understood. She told me at 17 that if I kept chasing the fantasy, I'd end up writing in a Starbucks bathroom stall. That was a real quote. I remember it word for word because it shattered me. When I got my first byline, I showed it to her. She skimmed it and said, "So, do you get paid for that? Or is it just for your ego?" The dinner. Yes, we didn't come to that dinner. And no, it wasn't some random act of spite. She called it a family dinner, but it was on a weeknight with no heads up, built around James's favorite meals, scheduled right after Tyler and I had a big blow up with her over, get this, her asking Tyler for money right after criticizing his job and calling him a professional couch surfer. He's a freelance developer who makes good money, by the way. We didn't go because it wasn't a dinner for the family. It was another episode of The James Show, and we were just the extras. Tyler didn't change. He woke up. For years, Tyler defended her. Even when I moved out and went no contact for a while, he still visited her every weekend. Did yard work, ran errands, all of it. But eventually, he started seeing the patterns. How she used guilt, how she'd give with one hand and slap with the other. She asked him for money days after he helped pay her car insurance, and when he hesitated, she said, "Maybe I was wrong to call you the responsible one." That broke him. The birthday cards, the Mother's Day texts. She uses these as proof James is the good one. But of course he sends her those things. He has a completely different relationship with her. She was kind to him. She encouraged him. She believed in him. What she calls ingratitude from Tyler and me is actually exhaustion. You can't starve someone emotionally for years and then demand a parade for every scrap you throw their way. You can't constantly pick at your kid's self-worth and then act shocked when they stop calling. The worst part? She still doesn't get it. She came here, saw thousands of strangers telling her what we've been trying to say for years, and she still dismissed it all. She called everyone clueless. She's not asking herself why we're hurt. She's just mad that we're not comforting her through the pain she caused us. Where things stand now?
Tyler and I are still close. We live in the same city. He's healing. Therapy has been huge for both of us. James is complicated. He's not a bad person, but he's so used to being the favored one that I don't think he even realizes how one-sided it's always been. He still talks to her. That's his right. But I've made it clear that I won't be guilted or gaslit into pretending everything was fine growing up. As for me, I'm learning that difficult daughters are often just daughters who refuse to shrink themselves for someone else's comfort. I'm learning that boundaries aren't betrayal. And I'm learning that just because someone gave you life doesn't mean they know how to love you. If you're a parent reading this, please listen to your kids when they're hurting. Not to defend yourself, not to fix your image, but to understand what you've actually done. Because if you don't, they'll stop talking. And by the time you realize what that silence means, it might already be too late. Elise.